So this week is, as I said, the new moon of Elul, and it is introduced by Moshe's words, Re'eh, in this parsha. Look, I put before you this day, Hayom. Specifically it says Hayom, which means today. So when he's speaking to us every day. I put before you blessing and curse. Look, Moshe is saying, pay attention to your life. Every moment in it is profoundly mixed. Every moment contains blessing and curse. Everything depends on our seeing our lives with clear eyes, seeing the potential blessing in each moment. So Elul, being the last month of the Jewish year, although I guess technically, Adar would be, because there's also, the first month is also Nisan, but that's another conversation. Okay. Elul, the last month of the Jewish year, is a time to review the past and look at where we've come in life. And it's a preparation for the days of awe, or awesomeness, as I like to call them, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, when we resolve to do better this year than last. Now, as I said, if we arrive at Rosh Hashanah and we're just getting started, then we're not likely to make a ton of progress. The theme of Elul this month, before Rosh Hashanah, is Teshuvah, returning to our essential selves with prayer and tzedakah. Teshuvah means returning. Essentially, we're returning to the path of our true selves. It said in this month, HaMelech hu basadeh, the king is in the field. Right? So the idea is that during the high holidays, the king is on the throne of judgment, and then through our prayers we move the king to the throne of mercy. But right now, the king is just visiting us all in our daily life, just in the field where we're working. And so we have access to work on our relationship. And the godly spark within us is much more accessible as long as we search for it. And Re'eh, look. So there's a few practices we do in this month to prepare. As I said, the shofar is blown every morning after morning services, or if you have a shofar, I recommend blowing it in the morning, although maybe what time, I don't know, depending on your neighbors and when they wake up. And when writing a letter, traditionally during this coming month, we write, may you be inscribed and sealed for a good year, Chatima Tova, and we add chapter 27 to our Psalms in the morning, which talks about the themes of Elul. And it's also supposed to be a good time to check your mezuzahs, make sure you've got a mezuzah on your doorposts and that they're good. And many people also begin keeping a Cheshbon Nefesh journal, an accounting of the soul, where we can start to process and list those things that we've accomplished in our growth and those things that we're still struggling with. And all of this is to help us to see ourselves and our relationships more clearly so that we can set up our personal curriculum for the high holidays. The process of Teshuvah begins with this parsha, Re'eh, that we must practice how we look and see the two paths that lie before us at all times, one of blessing and one of curse, and be able to see ourselves in our relationships with greater clarity in order to know how to walk into the new year towards the blessings. The Das Zakenim offers a parable in his commentary on this verse. He gives the analogy of a crossroads. One road begins as a difficult, thorny trail and then opens up the rest of the way and is clear. The other path begins as a smooth passageway. It looks very appealing, but it ends in a thicket of thorns. An old man stands at the crossroads, he says, and warns passers-by, "Be careful. This road begins smoothly, but it ends up thorny. Choose the other road. Even though it begins in a difficult way, it opens up and will lead you well." Often we wonder why life is difficult. The Torah is teaching us that the path to blessings and happiness has nothing to do with how easy or how difficult something is. The only question you need to ask is this the right path for me? The Vilna Gaon teaches that kol hatchalot kashot, all beginnings, when we begin that path, that new path, all beginnings are hard. And if it's not hard, then it's probably not actually a beginning. So the idea is to find the right path for us, no matter how hard, and go for it. In Re'eh, Moshe is asking us to see, not just accepting the surface level, the packaging of the world, sort of what we see on the surface. It can be very confusing and misleading. I was running in the woods yesterday behind the shul, and I just about ran through a giant spider web. And, if you're moving too fast, if you don't slow down, then you're not really seeing everything, and a spider web can be invisible. We want to, we can walk right into them and only notice them when we're already stuck in them and they're all over our faces. But when we slow down and we really see, we can notice that when the light hits that web, it sparkles and comes alive. And suddenly, we can see all those points of connection in the web. It gives us a sense of wonder and awe for the mysterious matrix that is connecting all things. The Midrash advises us that if we had we not received the Torah at Mount Sinai, then where would we have learned the Torah? Can you guess? From the animals. It says we would have learned by watching nature and by watching the animals. The spiders teach us here to look for the web and see those points of connection, the practice of stepping outside of our small-mindedness to slow down so we can start to see the bigger picture. And that's what this Shabbat is helping us do. So that when we're faced with a choice, it becomes more clear to us which path will lead to mitzvah and which one the opposite. It's impossible to always see things clearly, though. Often our trauma and our core memories are coloring and distorting the way that we perceive the present moment and can have a huge impact on how we imagine our future. I want to share this story that was shared by Lawrence Kushner of Reuben and Shimon. And I think it's originally from the Midrash. When the people of Israel crossed the Red Sea, or the Sea of Reeds, they witnessed a great miracle. Some say it was the greatest miracle that ever happened. And on that day they saw a sight more awesome than all the visions of the prophets combined, says the Midrash. The sea split and the waters stood like great walls while Israel escaped to freedom on the distant shore. Awesome, but not for everyone. Two people, Reuben and Shimon, hurried along among the crowd, crossing through the sea, and they never once looked up. They noticed only that the ground under their feet was still muddy, like a beach at low tide. Yuck, said Reuben. There's mud all over this place. Blech, said Shimon. I have muck all over my feet. This is terrible, answered Reuben. When we were slaves in Egypt, we had to make our bricks out of mud, just like this. Yeah, said Shimon. There's no difference between being a slave in Egypt and being free here. And so it went. Reuben and Shimon whining and complaining and fetching all the way to their freedom. For them, there was no miracle, only the mud. Their eyes were closed. They might as well have been asleep. People see only what they understand, not necessarily what is lying in front of them. Something like this once happened to Jacob, our father. He dreamed of a ladder joining heaven and earth. Upon it, angels were climbing up and down. And then God appeared and talked to Jacob from above. And when he woke up the next morning, he said, "Whoa, God was in this place all along, and I didn't realize it. Ma norah hamakom hazeh. How awesome is this place?" Norah, by the way, Yomim Noraim is what we call the days of awe. It's the same word, Norah. How awesome is this place? This place is none other than the house of God and the gateway to heaven, he said. And later on, that became the Temple Mount, where the temple was built. Reb Shlomo Yitzchaki Rashi, the great medieval French commentator, explained that what Jacob meant in this moment is if I had known that God was here, then I wouldn't have fallen asleep. As Jacob's children, the daily shofar blasts of Elul are an annual call to wake up and keep our eyes open to the many beautiful, mysterious, and holy things that happen all around us every day. Many of them are little miracles, like when we wake up and see the morning light, when we taste good food and it helps us grow strong, or we learn from others, we grow wise, we hug the people we love, we feel warm, and we help those around us and feel good. All of these and more are for us here every day, but we have to open our eyes to see them. Otherwise, we'll be like Reuben and Shimon, able to only see the mud at our feet. So suppose right now our eyes are closed. How can we help ourselves wake up? I want to share with you two upcoming opportunities that are designed to help us do just that. Next Sunday, August 13th and August 27th, from 2:30 to 4 in our yurt, which, by the way, I've been going in there a lot lately for programming, and it's such a magical space, and it's very sacred. So we're going to be learning in there. It's going to be co-led by Lindsay Foreman, who's a meditation teacher at UVM, and Justin Reedy, who's a congregant, and he knows a lot about mindfulness practice and Torah, and I'll be there as well. And to support our preparation, the program will explore the themes of waking up, being present, and finding home. And it will also be inspired by the profound teachings of Rabbi Alan Liu of blessed memory, who wrote the book for the High Holidays, This is Real, and You Are Completely Unprepared, a book that challenges and guides us towards deeper understanding of our spiritual lives. I'll just say for that class, we're going to be creating a blend of traditional learning and mindfulness practice, and some chanting and meditation, all to bring us to the place of Hineni. Here I am. And then I want to also mention that this coming Thursday, August 17th, at 7 p.m. at the UU, the Church of Church Street, I'm going to be partnering with Rabbi Jan Salzman, and we're going to be doing a Rosh Chodesh Elul program for the new moon of Elul. And so we'll be looking at, through chant, through learning and ritual, also we'll be weaving teachings of Elul together for this entering the sacred labyrinth. And so I want to just close by sharing this song with you that is from the words of Jacob, our father Jacob, when he woke up and he said, "How awesome is this place? I didn't even know." This is a drum, speaking of New Year for the animals, this is a drum that's made from the skin of one of my goats that I raised back in Rhode Island. And so the chant is a repeat after me, and the words are, Ma Norah Hamakom Hazeh. How awesome is this place? And then it continues in English with, how awesome is this body, which our body is a temple, realizing how awesome it is that we are in this, that we live this body, and how awesome is this place, and how awesome is our journey through time and space. Because really, it's sacredness, holiness can exist in time, in space, and in soul.